Doctor Alert: the worst poison. Destroying your nerves and causing neuropathy. Your feet tingle at night. Your hands feel numb for no reason. You feel burning, stabbing, or electric pain that no doctor seems able to explain. What if I told you there's a poison you're probably exposed to every single day that's slowly destroying your nerves, and most people have no idea they're consuming it? This isn't about managing pain. This is about stopping nerve damage before it becomes permanent. Stay with me for the next 17 minutes, because what you're about to learn could save your nerves while you still can. I've spent decades helping seniors with nerve pain, numbness, burning feet, loss of balance, and something many are told they must just live with: neuropathy. One of the most frustrating things I see is how often people are told the wrong story about why their nerves are failing. They're told it's age. They're told it's genetics. They're told it's inevitable. In many cases, none of that is true. Before we dive in, drop a comment with your age and where you're watching from today. Have you experienced tingling, numbness, or burning in your hands or feet? Did you realize blood sugar could be damaging your nerves even if you don't have diabetes? Write your answer below, because awareness is the first line of defense. And once nerve damage crosses a certain line, we don't get second chances. Hit that subscribe button, because I share life-saving strategies like this every week to help you thrive after 60. Let me tell you about one of my patients named Frank. Frank was 68 years old, recently retired and still active, but his feet burned at night. His toes felt numb during the day. Sometimes he felt sharp electric pains that shot through his legs without warning. He was told it was probably aging, maybe circulation, maybe just one of those things. But when we dug deeper, we found something else: a daily exposure. Something he thought was harmless was slowly poisoning his nerves. When we removed it, the damage didn't reverse overnight, but it stopped getting worse. And that changed everything for him. Here's what I want you to hold on to. What was that poison? And how many seniors are unknowingly feeding it to themselves every single day? To answer that, you need to understand something fundamental about nerves. Nerves are living tissue. They are not wires. They are delicate structures that rely on oxygen, nutrients, and stable internal chemistry to function. Unlike skin or muscle, nerves heal very slowly. That means damage accumulates quietly over time. Long before you feel pain, tingling, or numbness, your nerves may already be under attack. Now, here's where things get uncomfortable. The worst poison destroying seniors' nerves is not something dramatic like industrial chemicals or rare toxins. It's not even alcohol by itself. The worst poison is something far more common, something many seniors are actually encouraged to consume regularly. The worst poison destroying your nerves is chronic blood sugar toxicity, and this is critical to understand. You do not need to have diabetes for blood sugar to destroy your nerves. You only need repeated spikes, and millions of seniors experience those spikes every day. When blood sugar rises too high, sugar molecules attach to nerve fibers and the tiny blood vessels that feed them. This creates inflammation, oxidative stress, and damage to the protective coating around nerves. Over time, nerves lose their ability to send clean signals. That's when tingling starts, then numbness, then burning, then pain, then loss of balance. One of the biggest myths in senior health is that neuropathy suddenly shows up. It doesn't. It develops silently, often for years, while the poison keeps working in the background. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever been told you're borderline diabetic or pre-diabetic, or told your blood sugar is a little high but not too bad? That's often where nerve damage begins. In fact, studies now show that pre-diabetes causes nerve damage almost as often as full diabetes. The difference is that most people with pre-diabetes don't know they have it. Now, I want to pause here, because this is where many people say, "But I eat healthy and I believe you." Most of my patients believe that too. The poison is not obvious. It hides inside foods and habits that sound healthy on the surface. Let me walk you through how this poison works step by step. You eat something that spikes blood sugar. Your body releases insulin to push that sugar into cells. Over time, cells become resistant. Sugar stays in the bloodstream longer. Nerves, especially the long nerves in your feet and hands, are exposed to toxic sugar levels again and again. The tiny blood vessels that feed those nerves become damaged. Oxygen delivery drops, nerves slowly starve. And because this happens gradually, people don't connect the dots. They say things like, "It came out of nowhere," when in reality it's been building for years. Here's another question. If blood sugar toxicity is so damaging, why don't all seniors with high sugar get neuropathy? The answer is exposure frequency, duration, and nerve resilience. Some nerves tolerate abuse longer than others, but once damage crosses a certain threshold, symptoms appear and they often accelerate quickly. Now let's talk about where this poison comes from in daily life. The first major source is liquid sugar. Fruit juice, sweetened coffee drinks, sports drinks, even so-called healthy smoothies. Liquid sugar enters the bloodstream extremely fast because there's no fiber to slow it down. That creates sharp spikes that directly harm nerves. Seniors are often told juice is easy nutrition. In reality, it's one of the fastest ways to poison nerves. The second major source is refined carbohydrates eaten alone. Bread, cereal, crackers, rice, pasta, especially when eaten without protein or fat. These break down into sugar quickly. Seniors are often advised to eat easy-to-digest foods, but easy digestion often means rapid sugar release. That sugar has nowhere to go except into the bloodstream and onto nerve tissue. The third source is constant snacking. When insulin stays elevated all day, nerves never get a break. There's no recovery window. This is why grazing is especially harmful for nerve health. Nerves need stable conditions to survive. Constant sugar exposure keeps them inflamed. Now, here's a piece most people never hear. Some medications can quietly worsen nerve damage by interfering with nutrient absorption, especially B vitamins. Certain acid-blocking medications, diabetes drugs, and cholesterol medications can deplete B12 over time. B12 is essential for maintaining the protective coating around nerves. Without it, nerves become fragile and misfire. Let me tell you about another patient, Susan. She had numb feet for years. Doctors blamed aging. When we tested her nutrient levels, she was severely deficient in B12. The cause wasn't her diet. It was a medication she had taken faithfully for years. Once corrected, her nerve damage stopped progressing. Not reversed, but stopped. And that made all the difference. Neuropathy is rarely caused by one thing alone. It's usually a combination of blood sugar toxicity, inflammation, nutrient depletion, and poor circulation. But blood sugar toxicity is the accelerant. It's the gasoline on the fire. This matters because nerves have a tipping point. Early damage may cause tingling or numbness. Later damage causes pain, balance problems, falls, and loss of independence. Once nerves die, they are extremely difficult to regenerate. That's why stopping the poison early is so critical. Here's the part I want you to hear clearly. Neuropathy is not always reversible, but in many cases it is preventable from getting worse, and that alone can preserve your quality of life. If you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and hit that like button. It really supports the channel and helps us reach more seniors who desperately need this information. Which brings us to the most important question. If blood sugar toxicity is the poison, what neutralizes it? What protects nerves? And what simple changes can seniors make to stop nerve damage from progressing? This is where many people expect complicated answers. They expect extreme diets, expensive treatments, or miracle supplements. The truth is far simpler, and that's why it's so often overlooked. The first and most important step in protecting your nerves is stabilizing blood sugar, not aggressively lowering it, not chasing perfect numbers, but keeping it steady. Nerves don't need perfection. They need consistency. Every sharp spike in blood sugar is like a small chemical burn to nerve tissue. Fewer spikes mean less damage. That alone can slow or even halt progression. Here is the single most important rule I teach seniors with neuropathy, and it's one most people have never heard. Never eat carbohydrates alone. Not fruit, not bread, not crackers, not cereal. Carbohydrates eaten by themselves hit the bloodstream too fast. Sugar rises sharply, insulin surges, and nerve repair shuts down. But when carbohydrates are eaten with protein or healthy fat, absorption slows dramatically. The same food that harms nerves when eaten alone becomes far safer when eaten correctly. This rule alone explains why some seniors develop severe neuropathy while others don't. Even with similar diets, it's not always what you eat, it's how you eat it. Let me give you a real example. One of my patients, James, 74 years old, came to see me because his legs felt weak and unsteady by early afternoon. He had burning feet at night and numb toes during the day. He believed he was eating clean. Every morning he drank a fruit smoothie with banana, mango, juice, and yogurt. What he didn't realize was that the liquid sugar hit his bloodstream before his muscles and nerves had any protection. We removed the smoothie, replaced it with eggs and vegetables in the morning, and moved a small portion of fruit to later in the day, eaten after a meal. Within weeks, his nerve pain eased, his balance improved, and his energy lasted longer. Nothing magical happened. We simply stopped poisoning his nerves. The second major step is eliminating liquid sugar entirely. No juice, no sweetened drinks, no smoothies. Even 100% natural juice is pure sugar without fiber. Fiber is what slows absorption and protects nerves. Without it, sugar hits fast and hard. Seniors often drink juice. Seniors often drink juice because it's easy, gentle, and recommended. Unfortunately, it's one of the fastest ways to worsen neuropathy. If you want fruit, eat it whole in small portions and never on an empty stomach. Fruit after a meal is far safer than fruit as a snack. This one change alone can dramatically reduce nerve irritation. The third step is nutrient protection, and this is critical. Nerves require specific nutrients to maintain their structure and function. Chief among them is vitamin B12. B12 is essential for maintaining the protective coating around nerves called myelin. Without enough B12, nerves become exposed, fragile, and misfire. Many seniors are deficient in B12 without knowing it, especially those taking acid blockers or certain medications. But B12 is not the only nutrient nerves depend on. Magnesium supports nerve signaling and reduces cramping and twitching. Folate works alongside B12 to protect nerve tissue. Alpha-lipoic acid helps reduce oxidative stress in nerves and has been shown to improve neuropathy. These nutrients don't cure nerve damage, but they help stabilize and protect what remains. Now, here's an important caution. More is not better. Some vitamins, especially B6 in high doses, can actually worsen nerve damage if taken incorrectly. This is why testing and guidance matter. Guessing can be harmful. Always consult with your healthcare provider before starting new supplements, especially if you're on medication or have existing health conditions. The fourth step is reducing chronic inflammation. Inflammation sensitizes nerves and amplifies pain signals. It turns mild nerve irritation into severe burning or stabbing pain. Highly processed foods, refined seed oils, and excessive sugar all fuel inflammation. On the other hand, foods like fatty fish, olive oil, vegetables, and spices such as turmeric help calm inflammatory pathways. Less inflammation means quieter nerves. The fifth step is movement, but not the kind most people fear. You do not need intense exercise to protect nerves. In fact, extreme exercise can worsen symptoms. What nerves need is circulation. Gentle walking, especially after meals, helps lower blood sugar and improves blood flow to nerve tissue. Even 10 minutes can make a difference. Movement is medicine when done correctly. At this point, I want to address something important. Many seniors feel discouraged when they hear nerve damage is slow to heal. That's true. Nerves regenerate very slowly, if at all. But stopping progression is just as powerful as reversing damage. Less pain, better sleep, improved balance, fewer falls. Those changes matter. One of the most harmful beliefs seniors are given is that nothing can be done. That belief itself becomes dangerous. I've seen people give up early only to worsen rapidly because the poison was never removed. Let me share another story. One of my patients in her early 70s came to me using a cane. She felt unsteady and afraid of falling. She had been told her neuropathy was permanent. When we stabilized her blood sugar, corrected nutrient deficiencies, and removed liquid sugar from her diet, her nerve pain reduced enough that she no longer feared walking short distances. She didn't become pain-free, but she regained confidence. That's life-changing. This brings us to a crucial point. Neuropathy is not just about pain. It's about independence. It's about being able to feel the ground under your feet, to react quickly, to trust your legs. Once neuropathy progresses too far, the risk of falls rises sharply, and falls are one of the biggest threats to senior health and longevity. That's why timing matters. Early nerve damage responds better than advanced damage. Tingling and mild numbness are warning signs, not verdicts. They are signals telling you something needs to change. Now, let me give you a simple, practical action plan you can start implementing for the next 2 to 4 weeks. First, remove liquid sugar completely. No juice, no sweetened drinks, no smoothies. Second, pair all carbs. Second, pair all carbohydrates with protein or healthy fat. Never eat carbs alone. Third, Eat fruit only after meals in small portions, never as a snack on an empty stomach. Fourth, walk for 10 minutes after eating when possible. This helps lower blood sugar and improves circulation to nerve tissue. Fifth, if you haven't had your B12 levels checked, ask your doctor for a test. And sixth, be aware of medications that may deplete nutrients, but do not change medications on your own without medical guidance. Observe what happens. Pay attention to your symptoms. Many seniors notice less burning at night, improved sleep, and steadier balance within just a few weeks. Even small improvements matter because they tell you the damage is not yet fixed in stone. Here's something I want to say very clearly. Anyone promising a miracle cure for neuropathy is not being honest. But anyone telling you nothing can be done is also wrong. There is a wide space in between, and that's where real progress lives. Neuropathy is often the result of years of quiet damage. It makes sense that improvement takes time, but stopping the poison is always the first step. Your nerves are precious. They allow you to feel, to move, to balance, to stay independent. Once they're damaged beyond a certain point, recovery becomes incredibly difficult. But if you catch it early, if you remove the poison, if you give your body what it needs, you can often stop the progression and preserve what matters most: your quality of life, your mobility, your confidence, your independence. Before you go, comment below with your age and where you're watching from. Tell me, are you experiencing any of these nerve symptoms? Have you been told it's just aging? Have you tried removing liquid sugar or pairing carbs with protein? I read every comment and love hearing from our community. And if this video helped you understand what's really happening to your nerves, share it with someone who needs it. So many people are suffering needlessly. Because they've been told nothing can be done. Knowledge like this can truly change lives. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing health tips designed specifically for seniors. Remember, protecting your nerves starts with understanding the poison and removing it from your daily life. You have more control than you think. Stay strong, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next.